Finally Friday morning, and we welcome an old friend, special guest back. Brian Moote
Yes.
is here all the way from Seattle.
I've been here numerous times, man. This is a fun town.
We always like having you. Gosh, you were here it was 8 years ago.
Oh my God! One of the first times I ever did radio was in Billings.
Really?
Yeah, it's a few shows out here just doing stand up with Lucas Seeley. Lucas Seeley presents.
Yeah, and you're a radio god now.
I am. Well, I don't know about the
tickets.
God stuff. I'm doing. Yeah, I mean, that's the funny thing about comedy is like I have a social work degree.
Mm-hmm.
I was a special ed teacher, toured a lot in stand up. I don't want to say fell into a morning radio show in Seattle.
You obviously have to work a little bit to get a morning radio show in Seattle. You didn't exactly fall into.
You don't fall. It's funny. It's like you want to portray the character of this, like, I'm a comic who just doesn't care.
Right.
But, you work real hard at everything. And I had a couple auditions to do a show up there and did it. And radio to me is fascinating. Like I'm staring at your board right now, and I'm looking at. Oh, I know what this is, and like I was trying to look at your audio. No one cares about this kind of stuff, but your audio system. I was like, oh, I see what we're doing here. Like the difference between the programs but as a comic, like that's what you do your whole career is like I want to know what you do. It's fun, you know, whether it's TV, radio, film. You just want to get better at everything.
Well, and there's a lot of comedians that kind of make their way into radio,
right?
You know?
And for me, it's like it's not just being funny on the air. I think that's a gift in itself, just being good at not train wrecking a show, because a lot of comics are bad.
Right.
I understand after doing radio. It's funny, after doing radio, I finally understand why a lot of radio people hate comics, because they're awful. They're awful sometimes. Like we'd have people on the show and I'd be like, "Why are you on the air with us?" Like I took interviews off the air all the time.
Well, it's not really their medium, either, you know.
But even just put some effort in, for God's sake. I remember one time, and not like I want to name drop. Well, whatever. I don't know who'll be out here. It was Sean Wayans, right?
Okay.
I remember having Sean Wayans and having him off the air because I was like, well, they wanted to have an interview for the comedy club, and I was sure. I have him on, and I asked him a question. I go like, so what do you got coming up, Sean? He's like, well, I can't really talk about what I got coming up. I was like, then why are you on my show? Why are you here? Like, why are you in the studio? You can't talk about what you have going on? You have nothing good? I go, so what's it like growing up in the Wayans family? You got a lot of funny people.
Sure.
Keenan, you name them all. Keenan, Ivory Wayans, Damon Wayans. He's like, it's all love in the Wayans. I'm like, it's not all love, man. You guys had to compete. What are you talking about?
Right.
And I understand. Like in that moment, I was like, this is why people hate comics.
Well, a lot of the times with morning radio, it's too early for comics and rock stars. Like they don't want to be here at 7 o'clock.
It feels early now for me because this isn't my show.
Right.
But I'd be in our studio at 4:15.
Yeah, I'm here
cutting up audio, and I'm like excited. I'm like, yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
You know what it is? When you do a real job, not that radio isn't a real job. I don't want people thinking that we don't, because we do. There's a lot of work.
Right.
But when you do a job where you drive, because for years I would drive an hour and a half to get manhandled by students at like a behavior disorder high school. And I remember driving in the morning, listening to morning radio, just going like, man, like that sounds fun. And then you get to a school and you're like, I have. This is how you hate your job, by the way. And you get to work and you're like, I have 3 minutes before I have to be in.
Right, you're actually counting
and you like
freedom.
I remember one time laying my seat back and going like, I have 5 minutes. Just close your eyes, Brian. You have 5 minutes.
I've had jobs like that, and I'm glad that I don't anymore.
Right, of course. I mean, not that, every job is difficult. No job is easy. That's why it's a job.
This is generally the best part of my day. Before most people wake up and come to work.
You have fun just hanging out, doing what you do.
It's all kind of downhill after about 8 o'clock in the morning.
You take a big nap. That's what you get good at when you do morning radio, is the nap game.
Right.
Like you become a narcoleptic. You just pass out.
Totally. 4 hours in the afternoon, 4 hours in the middle of the night. I get my 8 hours of sleep every day.
I did this, man. Dating is awful when you do morning radio. I remember. Oh, yeah. I was out with this girl one time. And it was like a Tuesday night. Got to be on the air early morning on Wednesday. And she was like, "What do you want to do?" I was like, "Let's go. We go back to your place and just hang out." She's like, "Yeah, let's watch a movie." Or I think we're gonna watch
movies, man.
Yeah, we're gonna watch Better Call Saul. And I remember her putting the episode on. And the next thing I remember, we woke up. I woke up sitting straight up in her couch by myself.
And it's time to go to work.
Yeah, 3:45 in the morning. She's asleep in her room, and I was like, oh, there that is.
Good date.
Yeah. Right. It's hard to come back and be like, you're really sexy.
Sorry,
you're really
I'm so
attractive.
sleepy
Sorry,
all the
I fell
time.
asleep in your face. And I asked her, I was like, what happened? She's like, oh, she's like, I think you leaned in to like try to kiss me, and then you just
fell asleep
in your face, and then like snored.
Early to bed, early to rise makes me a terrible partier.
Oh, I know. And it's not even like, you try to have a normal life. You know, you'll go out and be like, yeah, it's like 10 o'clock. I'm good. And then 11:15, I'm an old man.
Yeah.
He's falling asleep. You're trying to squeeze in naps everywhere.
So radio and comedy, completely different. I mean, you're on the road and stuff like that. Which do you prefer? I mean, I know you did radio long enough that you obviously liked it.
Yeah, I love it. And even now, I syndicate some things, and I'm working in radio. I'm actually working in. I went from entertainment, just morning drive comedy, to doing news.
Yeah.
Like news talk, not just like news. Like, hey, this is Brian Moote,
right.
and
here's the headlines.
We've got a pretty big accident right now. So I trying to make the news entertaining.
Cool.
Here's the thing with comedy. Comedy's great. You get to travel around a lot. I think what is fun about it is also what's terrifying, which is the flexibility. You get to travel the country. I've been to Billings numerous times, and I love coming out here. It's fun. It's a fun town. Billings tries to hurt you with alcohol. Even last night, got off plane at midnight with Jubal Flagg, the other radio personality from Seattle, who's here. He's a funny comic too. That's the fun thing about us, is like we're both stand-ups who do radio.
And he's got like #1 show in Seattle.
He's a monster.
Like,
we had the same we were the same company in Seattle. And his show was like the top 40 show, and we were the if you're like a radio buff, or like AC, hot AC. And we got off a plane at midnight, and I was like, how much trouble can you get in till 1:15? And it was like fireball. Here's a vodka soda. And
you had catching up to do, huh?
Yeah. No, I didn't think I had a beer last night. It was all hard liquor.
Yikes.
I'll say the thing that I appreciate about the radio job was the consistency and being there every day. I think stand-up and radio are closer than any other medium when it comes to entertainment, because you get the immediate reaction. Like you're on the air now. Right. People text in, people call in. If people hate your joke, you find out immediately. When they call you an idiot, you're like, oh, all right, yeah, I missed the boat on that one. You have a caller call in who tell you that you're a complete moron.
It's kind of the same thing. You got to get into the routine.
Exactly. And with TV, when you do TV stuff and stand up, it's like you'll tape something. I was on that MTV show Money from Strangers, and I did one season. I was on a couple episodes of Punk'd, and you tape it, and then you're like excited because you're on set. And you're like, yeah, look at me. I'm eating craft services. I'm eating snacks. And then it airs like months later.
Right. You almost forgot that.
Right. You do. And then it's like, it kind of loses its fun. Radio is one of those things where, and I have a big mouth anyway. So, and I have no problem just pissing everybody off. Where it's like, I don't have any kids, but I got a lot of strong opinions about how you should parent because I don't have any, and I know what's annoying to me. I know what makes me crazy in public when you let your kid just run around like a wild man, But I also don't know how hard it is to have one every day. So it's like, but I'll let you know.
You'll definitely be the armchair quarterback.
For sure, armchair parenting quarterback. That's what I am. I'm Monday morning quarterback. Where I'm great. Like, you know what, man? You got to tell your kid this. Why is your kid on an iPad all day? It's like, now I get it. Put him on an iPad.
Okay.
So I think, with radio, it's like the job is it's time consuming with the hours. A lot of people don't know that we work real hard to make it seem like we don't do anything.
No, I don't just walk in here and turn on the microphone in the morning.
Come on,
hi.
You do, bro. You just flip it on. What's up, everybody?
Hey,
just made it in the door.
Just walked in the door.
You work really hard to make it seem like you don't do anything, but the consistency is nice. Because stand-up, I've had months in stand-up where I'm like, if I could replicate this every month, like playing Comic-Con, colleges, like, I just made $12,000 in 1 month. Man, if I could do that every single month, and then be like, man, a little bit of TV here and there, I'd be making it. And then the next month, $200.
Right.
You're like, I played one bar room in like Southern California for $200.
Not a lot of consistency.
No. Can't have a family on this.
You're with Jubal Flagg.
Jubal Flagg, yeah.
They're calling you the Seattle radio god.
Yeah, I mean, that's a little bit obnoxious. Here's the best part about that whole thing. So like, I'm new to radio, and people don't know that there's a lot of buttons to push. And the first time we were plugging, Jubal and I were plugging, doing shows together in Seattle, we were coming back in from music breaks to be like, plug Radio Gods, plug that thing. And I hit a button, and it was like, show pow, 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 pow. While I was in the middle of talking, I hit like some promo sweeper that had lasers. And I remember just going, yeah, lasers. and then I'm like sweating because I just pressed the wrong button. And you're live on the air, right? You just press this button that's the completely wrong thing. And you're like rattled and like breathing heavy in the mic. And my co-host was like, so what show are you plugging? And I'm like, oh, Radio Gods. But I feel like it's like a radio guy who just pressed the wrong button like an idiot.
Is that kind of like bombing on stage then? Same type of feeling?
It's
like with one joke or something?
It is, but you can still make it funny if you're in the moment. Which I'm sure everybody who's done radio
screw up constantly.
Yeah,
every day.
It's funny because everybody screws up. Everybody does the wrong thing at their job, and I think the important part is just being aware of it. I can't stand it when somebody's just like, oh, well, that was I'll put that on our producer. And our producer's like, what? I'm just fielding phone calls. We're doing a contest.
The blame game.
Yeah.
That's big in radio.
Oh, I was like, there'd be times where like you'd hear me open a break on my co-host microphone. I'd be like, click 98.9 Seattle's Modern. What was that? Oh yeah, I'll press this button right here.
Turn
click 98.9 Seattle's Modern Hits.
Absolutely. Good to see you again, man.
Thanks, buddy. It's good to be here.
Brian Moote from Seattle. Take care, man.